In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
It has been a difficult week with much disturbing news, and some of you have spoken with me about this. It may seem counterintuitive, and it is certainly a roundabout journey, so bear with me. But we can draw hope on this, the last day of Christmas, from the story about the angel warning the Holy Family to go to Egypt, to flee their home, because Herod planned to kill Christ. Herod did not really know what he was doing, of course. Those who do not love never do. He was obsessed with himself, with his own power, and did not understand the true importance of Christ or anything outside of himself. In order to understand this in context, I want you to imagine that you are the builder of a ropes course like those used in Outward Bound, if you've heard of that organization. As the builder, you know that the purpose of the course is to encourage cooperation, trust, respect, both of self and others, and team building. You create it so that as participants wend their way through trees and over boulders and across streams, they encounter various opportunities both to receive help and to offer help, opportunities for grace. As a result, many in fact find that the experience helps build their sense of belonging and purpose, which in turn improves their sense of self-worth. But there are, of course, some who do not get it. Those who see the course not as a way to be a part of something remarkable, but as an opportunity to prove themselves. And some do this by finishing the course without help from anyone. At completion, rather than achieving a sense of belonging and purpose, they are filled with pride at having completed it by themselves. Of course, while they were busy proving themselves, they also did not help anyone else. They had not supported the group. They had gone their own way. Now, when this happens at the cellular level in the body, we call it cancer. There were others who wished, of course, to prove themselves in different ways by being the first to finish. For them, the course is not a team-building experience, it's a race. And Herod the Great was like this, more like the second, actually. He misunderstood the purpose of existence to such an extent that he was seemingly capable of anything to maintain what he saw as his superior status. We just sang, for example, the haunting Coventry Carol, and we read a passage from Matthew, both of which referred to the massacre of the innocents. That is, when Herod heard that a king was to be born in Bethlehem, he felt that his authority was being threatened. So he ordered all male children, 2 years and younger, born in the vicinity of Bethlehem, to be killed. Now, some dispute that this actually occurred, though it is certainly in keeping with Herod's character. We know for a fact that he ordered the death of his first 3 sons in their adulthood, as well as one of their mothers. Like those who missed the point of a ropes course, Herod did not understand that our existence here is to teach us how to love, to cooperate, to be gracious, to support one another. And we see a similar disconnect today. And someone from the 5:30 service recently told me that young people say to her that church is not relevant to their lives. At the time, without much thinking, I replied that that might be the case, but church was certainly relevant to their afterlives. On reflection, however, I think that there is even more to the story. This sense of disconnect among the younger generation resulted, I suspect, from the advice of experts who, with good intent, taught a generation of parents to rear their children in ways that shielded them from experiencing and witnessing emotional struggle, economic struggle, spiritual struggle. And now that that very protected generation has matured, many of them think that a person who struggles is simply not doing it right. Rather than saying, as a former generation did, that challenges produce character, they see struggle as failure. In reality, it is, of course, our struggles in this rope course of life that make us grow, that give us depth, invite us to deeper compassion, stronger relationships, greater cooperation. Church is therefore not only relevant to our afterlives, it's also relevant to our lives. The stories we tell, the worship service that we here create together, everything we Christians do is in part to support us in this effort, to encourage, to teach, to form, so that our time here on earth is not wasted in the Herodian folly of those who do not understand life's purpose. And I think that is the central issue. We must know why we are here in order to understand why our struggles are significant. Now, our culture certainly doesn't help. We've become very proud of casting off the old and adopting the new. Everything is so last year. The stories that we have told, the ones that we repeat here to help us to understand the meaning of existence, have been cast off as mere superstition. Yet nothing has replaced them. Science is quite useful in telling us how things work, but religion tells us why we are here. We may be the first to finish, we may do it without any help, we may have the most toys, but without an understanding of the point of life, we remain empty and without purpose. And I would say the proof is in the statistics. By trying to do everything ourselves, we are developing record levels of loneliness. Opinion columnist Nicholas Kristof notes that according to research published by Holt Lundstad, social isolation is more lethal than smoking 15 cigarettes a day, more lethal than obesity. In response to this problem, Britain is taking action. They have appointed a minister of loneliness who has fostered the development of community-sponsored activities. And such projects are all well and good, but I would say they're only band-aids if we have no sense of real purpose, if we are only surviving in order to survive. Not only are we becoming lonely, we are becoming more anxious and depressed. According to Lee Siegel, the American Psychiatric Association reported that from 2016 to 2017, 1 year, the number of adults who described themselves as more anxious than the previous year rose 36%. And in 2017, more than 17 million adults had a new diagnosis of a major depressive disorder, as well as 3 million adolescents ages 12 to 17. 40 million adults now suffer from an anxiety disorder, nearly 20% of the adult population. He adds that these are the known cases of depression and anxiety. The actual numbers must be much more, must be dumbfounding. In addition, the suicide rate increased by 33% between 1999 and 2017. We are doing something wrong. People who are depressed, lonely, suicidal, are precisely those who have been made to feel that they have no purpose, that they do not matter, that they do not belong. All the physical comfort in the world cannot assuage that sense of ennui, of pointlessness. If you have struggled with depression, as I did when I was younger, I want to tell you that Christ assures you that you do belong, that you do have a purpose. I'm relating these statistics not to depress you further, but to encourage you, because religion is the answer. And what we practice here in the Episcopal Church is exactly what contemporary society needs, though they seem not to know it yet. We know that life is more than comfort, more than winning. We know that we prove ourselves not through competition, but through sharing our hearts. Our stories, Adam and Eve, Abraham and Sarah, Mary and Joseph, collected over the centuries and heard here every week, teach us that struggle has meaning, that questioning and confronting and yes, even suffering have a purpose. They help to shape us. If we know that our experiences are meaningful, we resent them less, and they're more likely to result in growth and formation. Those, on the other hand, who have no idea why we're going through this holy road course become lonely and depressed at the very least, and may experience deformation, may become greedy, self-centered, judgmental, uncaring. People like Herod, who misunderstand the purpose of life, have always existed and have always tried to find other ways of proving themselves. But this has become more common as society has taught us to avoid challenges for the sake of comfort and encouraged us to throw out the stories that have informed each new generation of the meaning of existence. Only when we know life's purpose, understand the point of the spiritual ropes course, do we feel comfortable enough to let life's difficulties challenge us to grow into a different human being, one with an open heart, blessed with grace, humility, and love. At the point of our death, as we face that last hour, that last minute, that last second, we will know that we have not wasted our time here, and we are ready for the next thing. This is the message that we must share with others. Our sacred duty is to help them to see that we have been misled, that they are missing the very reason that we are here. So do not let events get you down. We have much work to do, and we are filled with purpose.